Welcome to part 13 of this video series. Today we're going to be discussing land transportation and the alternatives to autos. Thank you for supporting the creation of this video series. If you haven't done so already, then please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos in this series. Okay, so unless you're staying at the same marina all year round that always allows you to have a parking space, or you're at somebody's private dock, chances are you won't be able to keep a car. Plus, if you're staying on a small boat to save money, then owning a car can be really counterproductive. We have come a long ways since I first started to Liveaboard about 30 years ago. Back then, there were basically four options. The first was public transit, which was okay in your hometown, but if you're trying to take it while traveling, it can be downright nerve-wracking. You are trying to figure out where you're going in a strange city, which is tough enough, but trying to figure out bus routes and fares in a strange city was just horrible. Plus, looking out the window to try to orient yourself or figure out where you're going was, well, less than ideal. Today, it's a whole new ballgame. Most cities have maps and fares in their bus shelters, but even better than that, we have entered the world of mobile devices. You can use things like Google Maps, which will show you the basic bus routes and where you are, but much better than that is apps similar to the Transit app. It works in most cities and first shows you where you are, then where all the stops near you are, and which buses service those stops. You then use the map to show it where you plan on going, and it calculates the best route options for you. It may even show you the up-to-date minute location of where your bus or train is, and how full it is. Once you're on your bus, it tells you where you are along the route, and how far until your stop. It only takes a couple of minutes to learn how to use it, and now anybody at all can take public transit in any city without being scared of it. The second option back then was taxicab. The problem back then was, depending on which city you were in, you either had to hail one or attempt to find the phone number to call one. That is, if you can find a payphone. If you were at a marina, this wasn't too bad. They usually had a phone and knew the number, plus you can have a taxi pick you up at the marina. But if you just use your dinghy to go ashore, then trying to give the taxi directions to where you are could be really challenging. Today there's more options, for example Uber and Lyft. You can just go on your mobile device, put in your information, and voila, one is on your way to come get you. It'll even tell you how long your wait is. Some will even let you pay right there online. Now, not all taxi services are up to date as Uber or Lyft, but they have been getting there. At the very least, you can look up their phone number on your device, and using an online map, tell them where to come get you. The Transit app I had mentioned earlier also lets you see how much it costs to take Uber compared to public transit. Another option you have today is if you need a car, there's car sharing. This is where you basically rent a car for a short period like an hour or two. Most of these services require some form of subscription, which allows you to borrow cars from multiple cities. Some even have different car options like compact, electric, and vans. Most are set up so that they have car stands all around the city, so once you have your subscription, you can just go and grab one without all the paperwork and hassles of renting a car. I know quite a few people, including non-boaters, who have given up owning a car and just use alternate transportation like buses and bicycles, and just use a car sharing service for when they want to do something like groceries, or if they need to get out of town. It's a great way to save money and not to mention help the economy and the environment. The third option we had 30 years ago was to keep a bicycle on board. This was not always ideal because even though there was folding bikes, they were very expensive and not very popular. So you were stuck trying to fit a full-size bike or multiple full-size bikes on board. And on a small Liveaboard boat, this could be a real challenge. Getting them on and off a dock was a challenge in itself, but carrying them onto a small dinghy in most cases was nearly impossible. Plus, once you got to shore, you still had to figure out where you're going. Today, there are so many bicycle options, it's hard to know where to start. Okay, so first I'll start with folding bicycles. Today, these have become a lot more popular. I see them all the time now, and they've come way down in price. But this is really a case of you get what you pay for. I gotta tell you, my first folding bike was cheap, and after about a year, one of the main welds on the frame let go. Also, the cheaper the heavier, which when you're carrying a bicycle onto a dinghy from your boat, this is really important. Now, folding bikes come in all sizes, from tiny ones that fit in your backpack to folding full-size bikes. Guess I'll start with full-size bikes. These are great except for, even though they're a bit smaller than regular bikes when they're folded, the 26-inch wheels still mean you're going to have troubles getting them to shore. Personally, I believe they just don't make enough of a difference to warrant using them. If you truly want a full-size bike, then get a full-size bike. At the other end of the spectrum are these little A-frame folding bikes with narrow 6-inch tires. I understand the desire for these, the fact they can fit in a backpack and store anywhere. But after looking at the reviews, it seems they're only good on perfectly smooth surfaces. Any little bump and you're in trouble. They're also not designed for larger peoples. The ones I was looking at have a maximum capacity of 150 pounds. When it comes to tire size, basically the larger the better the ride. Although keep in mind that a wide, low-pressure tire takes more energy to push it, so you won't be able to go as far. For me, a folding bike in the mid-range is perfect. I won't go smaller than a 16-inch tire, and I do prefer a 20-inch tire. Nowadays, they have what's called an e-bike. These are pretty much regular bikes with a battery and a motor. These have become very popular in some regions. I see them every day. You can use them like a slower, quieter version of a motorcycle by just twisting the grip and going, or by using pedal assist, which gives you more adjustable amount of power whenever you do paddle. It's sort of like feeling like you're super strong with amazing stamina. I have converted my own folding into an e-bike, and I did this to increase my range of how far I can ride. I won't get into details about my own bike because I did a quick video showing my e-bike. I'll attach a link above and below in the description. It is quite heavy because it's an e-bike, but in this case I think it's worth the trade-off. Electric scooters, etc. are also very popular, and this term refers to the large ones that are like small motorcycles and small little ones you stand on. Technically, some of the large ones have pedals, but they're really not that functional. They were put there to get around some bylaws. Although today a lot of cities have reworded their bylaws to stop these loopholes. For example, in my hometown, they now say traditional style only on the bike paths, although e-bikes with a maximum speed of 32 kilometers an hour are also acceptable. Personally, I would never get one of the big ones. There's too many places you simply cannot take them. Also, the advantage of small scooters or e-bikes is that you can take them on a bus or taxi if you run out of battery or something goes wrong. Personally, I like e-bikes over scooters because I like to have as much range as possible to expand my exploring possibilities. Another reason I like bicycles over small scooters is the ability to carry more provisions. I use cages on the back of mine so I can put grocery bags right in them, and unlike pannier bags, I can leave them attached to the bike even when it's folded up. Now, the fourth and last option is walking. I admit I like walking down main streets, etc., but this hasn't changed over time, except for now you have maps on your mobile device, which makes finding where you're going a lot simpler. In closing, times are changing, and there's now a lot more options out there for replacing the automobile. A lot of cities are making major strides to make alternatives to autos a lot more popular. If you have any ideas on other options to automobiles, then please tell or show me down in the comments. I'd love to read about them. And thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video series on living aboard a small boat. If you have, then please subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you.